Hi everyone. So, over the past month, I have been trying to be more conscious and aware of the way that I use my digital devices and also the way that I consume, um, digital media platforms online. And essentially, this means being more aware of, why I'm using my phone, when I'm using my phone, and things like that. And basically, trying to put myself in a place that kind of ensures to myself that I'm not really letting external forces affect my moods and feelings too much. And I'm going to share with you guys a little about how I did this and also maybe some things that I've learned along the way. So I think in the beginning it was quite hard because an app that I use a lot is Reddit. I I used to use it quite a bit, and I developed kind of like this muscle memory thing. So whenever I'm on my phone, I know exactly where the Reddit app is. So I found myself in the starting days just randomly clicking on the Reddit app, even though I didn't really have the intention to use the app. And so, a quick and easy way I bypassed this initial obstacle was just to remove the app completely from my home screen. And also, messaging apps like texting apps, I struggled with the urge to open up the apps to see if I'm missing anything. So, I didn't really remove those apps from my home screen, but what I did was I shuffled my home screen app icon things every day. So every day, if I want, there's a certain level of commitment that I need to put in if I'm going to open an app. And I think that brief 45 seconds of searching for the app kinda reconfigures my mind and basically puts myself in a space whereby I'm forced to think whether or not I should invest the additional effort into, searching for and opening up the app. Right. So, what this taught me is that, phones are designed to be user friendly. The search bar is just on an iPhone, just need to swipe up, type in whatever app you want to open, and it's very intuitive for its users, and it's built to be that way. Phones are designed so that you won't feel inclined to put them down. And I think that's really detrimental to things like attention span, because we're so used to things being so receptive and quick and on the go that we forget the value in taking our time to look for something. So that's something that I learned from, having to sort through my entire app gallery to find a certain app that I'm looking for. And so once I passed that obstacle, I kind of asked myself, what's next on this journey, on this digital detox journey? And I realized that a whole new different part of media that I consume that I feel like is very rarely talked about when I watch videos or read posts regarding digital minimalism or detoxing is music. So I went online and like a really quick Google search, and I found that music actually impacts a lot of our emotions and the way we view the world. And so I kind of set a goal for myself to only consume maybe an hour of music maximum a week. And this was hard for me because I used to be someone who listens to music when I'm on the go, when I'm doing my work alone, sometimes even when I'm reading. And this includes video game soundtracks that I'm really into. But yeah, so I had to put that aside for the sake of this thought experiment. And what I realized is I think a lot of times we understate or underestimate the impact that music has on us. So I remember just a few weeks ago, I was having a really, really bad week, and I realized that I was constantly listening to sad songs. The urge to play sad music just overwhelmed me because I wanted to listen to something that resonates with how I'm feeling inside. But what this does is it creates kind of like a loop. And apart from that, it also pushes me away from opportunities to kind of sit in silence and think about why I'm feeling a certain way, to kind of address the negativity that's going on in my head. And instead of doing all that, I'm constantly feeding myself with sad lyrics, sad music, people, singing about things that are similar to what I'm going through. And in the midst of all of that, it's just basically avoiding the problem at hand and pushing the problem away and just not addressing whatever's going on in the real world. So I found that parting with music was something that I had to do, but it was hard because I had to find alternatives to do when I'm, on the commute and things like that. And all of this was, initially it was kind of hard to think of things to do apart from listen to music while I'm on the train or on the bus. But then one day it just kind of hit me that, we're so conditioned to think that we have to maximize our time when we're, walking. We have to read the news when we're walking. We have to listen to music or podcasts or audiobooks when we're on, the morning commute and things like that. But that's not really the case. It's okay to just sit there in silence and basically let the time flow. No one's really, we've just been pushed into this narrative that we have to be hyper efficient in our time allocations and we have to make the most of our day. But sometimes making the most of your day could also just be sitting on the train for 30 minutes and looking at people. That's okay. And one thing that I found from doing this is that I get tired a lot lesser. And I don't really know the actual scientific reason behind it, but my theory is that, I used to be someone who wanted to read on the go whilst listening to music, whilst texting my friend and things like that. So it's just for the same amount of time, let's say 5 minutes, I'm allocating my resources, my attention into so many different areas. And that is very energy consuming, I believe. So by not doing anything, I'm essentially conserving energy from my commute. And this is energy that I can use for all other facets of my life out of the commute. So I found that I have become a lot more lively or energetic. Still not very much so, but I have gotten better. And I really do think that it's because I'm being a lot more intentional in how I'm spending my time. And I'm being a lot more intentional in not multitasking, and focusing on whatever is going on right in front of me at the very moment. And another thing that I had to do was to learn not to use my phone when I'm eating. So it's really become the norm, with streaming services like YouTube or Netflix. It has become the norm to watch something while we're eating. I don't know why. It just makes I get it. I was someone that used to do that. It makes you feel like an emperor watching a jester dance while having his meal. Like, it's just good to have entertainment when you're eating. And I've even received comments of people telling me that I should film mukbangs so they could feel like they're eating with someone and things like that. So I definitely get that this is a prevalent problem that people have, not being okay with eating alone or focusing on the food. But I kid you not, you guys should try this. If you learn to eat slowly without any distractions and just focus on the little things like the AC blowing, or just very tiny things like the clock ticking, you'll find that the food that you're tasting is a lot more savory. Like, this is crazy to me. Maybe there has to be like a medical reason for it. Maybe when with little distractions you actually get more notes from your taste buds because there are lesser distractions or things like that. So all of your energy is focused on the food that you're tasting. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, okay? But I really realized that the food that I eat just becomes tastier. And when I'm not rushing to finish my meal, if I'm watching like a 10-minute video, I'm not segmenting my meal based on how many minutes is left on the video. It feels very freeing not having to rush through the food that I'm eating. And honestly, it just feels good. I think we're very used, especially for me, living in an Asian country. Everything's about productivity and making the most of your time. And it just feels a little liberating to know that amidst this extremely busy world where everything is so fast paced, I get an hour to myself to do whatever I want. And this autonomy that I have over my time just feels really good. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I highly recommend trying to be more intentional in how you use your time and to consume less. How should I frame this? To stop craving sensory input while doing various activities, as the day goes by. And you'll find that it's really freeing. So yeah. See ya.